Originally, I started doing boxing and striking. I was in high school, and I was bored and didn't really play any sports that I liked. So I decided.
What did you play when you grew up? Like,
I did soccer and athletics. I wasn't very good at either of them. But
what athletics events did you do?
I was trying to do sprinting, but mainly to
100
get
meters?
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had like a 13.5, which is like pretty slow.
Yeah.
Pretty slow time. But
What was your time, Nick, in the 100 meters?
100 meter? I don't know.
Could you? No one can hear you right now.
I don't know.
Okay.
Will you excel at rate?
I was really good at shot put.
I would
Yeah,
think
say
that
that,
you
yeah.
would be good.
Sorry, go on, David. We just cut you off.
all good. Yeah, so then I did boxing for a bit. I started at PCYC, and then I wanted...
Penrith?
Yeah, in Penrith. Yeah. And then my friend told me about Sydney West Martial Arts. He didn't even train there. He said, like, I want to start training there. And then I looked at the timetable. They did a lot of boxing at the time, and I joined in.
Does he still train?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. And then...
But it might be like supper or something.
pretty much.
Something, yeah.
And then pretty much I just like, it was kind of a combination of luck and like everything going in the right place. So I signed up with like no intention of doing jiu-jitsu, just doing boxing. And then the jiu-jitsu was extra like $5 a week, and boxing was on like 3 days. So I decided on the days I didn't do boxing, I'd try out jiu-jitsu. I actually like didn't really like it at first. It was such like an odd sport. I thought it was like kind of gay.
Yeah.
Which it is, but
Yeah. As I said the same thing when I started. We spoke about that last week. I was like, no, it's heaps gay. I don't want to do this.
the first 6 months was like me like not really loving it, being like, this is kind of boring. And then once I like started understanding it, it became a lot easier, and I slowly fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And
At what point did you realize you wanted to do jiu-jitsu for a living?
for a living?
Yeah.
I think when I finished high school and I started going to university, I just saw the other people and realized I was nothing like them, and I didn't want to live like a meaningless and miserable life, just working a 9 to 5 and just essentially living for a paycheck. I decided if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to live my life, I want to do something I want to do. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I could always go back to doing what I was doing before, as long as
Studying at university.
I was going to become a PE teacher. I'm very happy I didn't, because
Thank
I
God
hate
you
kids.
dropped out.
Yeah, thank God. Combine that with the like university culture. I think the first day I went there, they were talking about like, raise your hands if you got vaccinated, and I was like, oh no, I was like, I need to leave. I need to leave.
What year was this? Was this during COVID?
Yeah, this was like just after COVID, after the restrictions were lifting.
So how long have you been training?
I think approaching 6 years. I'm turning 22 soon, so I started jiu-jitsu when I was 16, boxing when I was 15. So.
Okay.
Just back to that like point, just because university it piqued my interest.
He's going to come in the
you've trained
defense
with
of
guys
university.
like John Danaher and Brian Glick, right, who are obviously very intelligent people. I think Danaher has some sort of degree in philosophy, right?
Yeah.
How do you think? Like, do you think that actually helps him in jiu-jitsu, being smarter in that way?
David likes philosophy. He's spoken about this. So.
Yeah, I've been getting into philosophy. I think it's about the way you approach, I guess, thinking about things. I think not all degrees are equal. I should say, like, a lot of degrees, they just tell you how to think. Like, for example, if you're going to do a degree, anything related in like health, liberal arts or anything, it's you're pretty much indoctrinated to a sense to like, just here are like what we think, you have to fit in. Otherwise, like, you're going to get ostracized.
Yeah.
Nick thrives in that environment.
Yeah.
I mean, uni never used to be like that. Like when I went, it was like, oh, you got to think about what you think about these topics. But I've heard that it's gotten worse and worse. So.
Especially in the...
what are you going to say? He's smiling.
I'm at uni.
Yeah.
So I mean, to a degree.
We're not quite sure how, but...
To a degree, I'd say that's correct.
I feel like it's not as bad as in Australia, but especially overseas. Like my brother was doing a PhD program in like University of Chicago, which is like a very good university and it's very high level, but like it's one of the most political universities in the US.
Is it a blue state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my brother made an offhand Trump joke. And he pretty much just got like ostracized
Really?
from there. Yeah. They hated it. Just an offhand joke. Couldn't handle it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But
yeah.
that's why I started.
Yeah, so, and you've obviously spent a lot of time in the Sydney West training room.
Yeah.
Which has socially, I don't know how well it's developed you, but jiu-jitsu wise, you've developed quite well. So
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah. I think it's
Tell us
developed
about-
me both like mentally and physically. Cause
Yeah.
it's not an easy place to like training. Cause like it's a bunch of guys. We like relentlessly make fun of each other. We call each other names every single day. So if you,
But I think that's like a good thing. Like
Yeah.
camaraderie is like really important in a jiu-jitsu room. So.
I think that's great. And it definitely builds an aspect of like mental toughness.
Yeah.
Cause if you like make a mistake, if you mess up, like someone's gonna berate you for it, and
Yeah.
then you gotta like not in a bad sense where
Yeah.
they're like making fun of you, just like light teasing, and
Yeah.
you give it back too. But like
Yeah.
builds a
So
sense
after a
of-
loss in a competition, how are you received back at the gym?
It depends. I wouldn't say that. It depends how the match was. If I completely fuck up, they're gonna like roast me. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck? You're retarded. Like, how come you fucked up? Like, what was that?" Which is fair enough.
Nick has really good mental toughness
yeah,
from
it's good. Yeah.
the camaraderie that he receives
Yeah.
here from
Really?
everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm building you up. I'm breaking
Many-
you down and building you up.
Many people don't know this, but Nick is the first openly gay brown belt at Academy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not easy.
I'm not open about it.
He has to.
I'm not open about it.
His
Yes.
girlfriend's going to be listening to this, like, or boyfriend. Whichever one.
Well, I haven't actually seen her yet, so as far as I'm concerned,
I've
she
met her.
doesn't
I've met her. She
exist.
does exist.
Yeah.
And Nick's, Chris has met her as well. So
She's a good girl. You better
Yeah.
take care of her, mate.
yeah,
All right. All right.
yeah. So everyone's always like, "Where's David from?" Like he's got a weird accent.
Yeah, my
You
accent,
do have not a weird one, but like it is odd. Like
Yeah.
it's unique.
The way I've described it is I sound American to Australians and I sound Australian to Americans.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Canada. I lived there for 7 years. Went to.
Do you remember Canada much?
A little bit.
Did you like it?
It's too young to tell.
Yeah.
It was just life. I didn't
Yeah.
really know anything else. But Australia is much better.
Yeah.
The weather's
Where did you live in
nicer.
Canada?
Lived in the city in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so where are your parents from? They're Canadian.
My parents are born and raised in Romania,
Yeah.
and then they moved over towards Canada to study at like the University of Toronto.
Yeah.
And then my dad got a job here at the university and moved over.
Yeah. Right. And what do they do at uni? Why did they move to Australia?
Yeah, my dad is he has a PhD in mathematics and education. So I think he's a lecturer.
Yeah.
Works at
That,
Western
yeah.
Sydney.
Pretty helpful degrees if you want to lecture at uni.
Yeah.
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 And they make pretty good money. What uni does he work at here?
Western Sydney.
Okay. Yeah. So he'd be
Yeah.
making bank. It's like one of the main ones.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you're just looking for the monetary aspect, like probably pursuing academia isn't probably the best course. Like
Yeah.
they make an okay living, but it's definitely nothing crazy. Like
Are they upset you don't go to uni?
a little bit, but I mean, sometimes they ask me, "Oh, when are you going back to university?" But the way I look at it is like, it's your life and it's my life. I can choose what I want to do.
But like, do they realize how much success you've had in
No.
jiu-jitsu? Like, they have no idea what. Are you ever going to invite them to like, I don't know, like a subversion event or something like that, and just say like, oh, just come watch like that?
I know.
you know?
I've thought about it, and it's like I'd just rather like my people just not know about it, especially my family, because it's like if they do come, it's like if I do lose like a big thing, they're like, "Oh, you're okay," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then if I get hurt, it's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that," blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Like when you got concussed,
Yeah.
like that would have been a big deal.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's because they care about you.
It's hard to explain to
Exactly.
people who aren't a part of the jiu-jitsu culture
Yeah.
what it all means.
Yeah.
There's a lot of culture that you have to understand.
And there's a lot of injuries, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of injuries, yeah.
So,
Concussed, yeah.
Yeah.
And then LCL tear, and then
Yeah.
it's not fun.
how was that like fighting the second half of that fight, like with a concussion?
I wish I could tell you, but I actually don't remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you remember the first half?
Yeah, it was weird because I remember like walking out, like being relaxed.
Yeah.
I thought the match was going relatively well. I think it was definitely going in his favor.
Yeah.
I think like
Just because of the takedowns?
just the takedowns. Yeah.
This is a Sousa match for everyone
It was a
listening.
match,
Yeah.
So my pretty much my mindset for that match was like, looking back, it may have not been the best strategy, but from
Yeah.
the information we had, I was under the assumption that the takedowns didn't mean as much.
Yeah.
So my whole strategy was, if he takes me down, great, because if he to take me down, he has to grab me, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as he grabbed me, I have connection, so I'm just gonna give up a takedown and,
Yeah.
and look to get on top. And it did work at the beginning. Like he took me down with like a swing single, and
Yeah.
I pretty much just used that to get on top and,
Yeah.
and sweep.
Which
him.
is kind of shit because I feel like if as far as takedown goes, you don't have as much connection on a swing single, right? Like,
Yeah,
so-
yeah, but I managed to sweep him off
Yeah.
it. But he definitely dominated the wrestling exchanges. But yeah, and then
Do you think if you went like back and fought Sousa now, what would be like without? We can always cut it out if you don't want him to.
no, I
hear
think
what
it's
they
fair.
are.
I think the biggest thing would be not accepting takedowns. I think
Yeah.
look, Sousa's definitely a good wrestler, and he did out wrestle me.
Yeah.
Like, make that clear. I think I could have done a better job, like
Yeah.
actually fighting for the takedowns and really committing towards my own takedowns.
Yeah.
I feel like I really didn't even have any takedown attempts apart from my slide ashes.
Yeah.
My whole strategy was just use standing position to pull in the guard. Maybe if I like shot a double, shot a single, actually had a crack at taking him down.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a much better strategy.
And in ADCC rule set, would you change like because
Yeah, ADC
I feel like that's where we want to see you fight him is like obviously win trials and then go face each other at Worlds, because he's a silver medalist, like what would be your strategy in ADCC?
ADCC rule set would pretty much be would be interesting because obviously you have the period of no points, and then you have points, and then you have overtime. So I think my strategy in the no points period would be pretty similar to Subversion. So I would approach the match like just try to get connection to him, try to grab him, and then try to like sweep him or leg lock him. And then during the points period, as the points come on, I would try to pull guard. And then from bottom position, rather than trying to sweep, my whole thing would just be wrestle up. So I would just like play a heavy seated guard, maybe even go on like my knees and just pretty much try to wrestle up.
Yeah, so you would pull like in the points period.
Yeah, I would pull. Yeah. And then if I get stuck standing, I would
even though like his game is like guard passing, like he likes to be on top. Because you looked really comfortable with the retention. Like,
well, in order for him to pass guards, he doesn't actually do well through the middle. So if you watch most of his matches, like he is fairly well-rounded, I would say, but he doesn't really do well in tight passing scenarios. He does his best work on the outside. So he relies on you falling to your back, trying to high leg. And then what he's like one of the best in the world in, he's best at like flanking you, getting you to overcommit, cross group passing. Like he passed Gianna Grippo, he's passed Mikey Musumeci, he's passed like some really good guards just by that strategy. But if you look at how he passes through the middle, like he hasn't really passed anyone through the middle in a long time.
So but like obviously like would you say like the best point of your game is guard retention, like being on the bottom, or would you say like, because I know training with you a lot, like I feel like you're pretty well rounded. Like I think your wrestling's good, your guard passing's good, your guard play, your leg locks. But I feel like where I see you, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, like do the best is like you get into like inside leg entanglement positions really well, and you're very flexible in those positions. Even like outside, like when you had that De La Riva scoop grip on him, and you had him tied up before the referee set you. Would you say that that's what you'd be trying to achieve, like some sort of leg entanglement?
Connection. I think the best part of my game is like getting leg entanglements or connection towards opponents and sweeping. I think once I have connection, like I'm one of the best in the world at attacking and sweeping and like turning that into an offensive sequence. But just trying to get that can be.
Yeah, because I feel like he didn't really. I mean, look, you know, people can sound biased, obviously, because we're mates, but like, I feel like he didn't pass you. The only time he passed you was that chest to chest when you'd just been concussed.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if I would count that. Like, obviously, some Brazilians will slander me for it and say it does count, but I feel like he didn't really get close to passing you other than that.
Yeah, obviously, he did pass me in that one sequence, but like when I got stabbed, I was like, I had no clue what was going on. I got up and I wobbled and I couldn't stand straight, and I had to take like 2 or 3 minutes to recover. It wasn't really me getting slammed. Let's make this clear. It wasn't his fault. It was my fault because I jumped close guard and then he put me down. So he didn't do anything.
And it was his
wrong.
head hit your jaw or something?
Yeah, his head was under my chest.
Yeah.
So his head like hit my chest and then my chest whiplashed my head into the back of the mat. So it wasn't even the initial contact. It was my back hitting and my head banging off the mat. So like nothing he did was wrong. It was on me.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
So,
like,
these things happen in a match, and
I wasn't blaming him. I was just like thinking, what exactly it was that sent you into a concussion.
You've had a fair few matches now at very high levels with international opponents.
Yeah.
Who would you say has been your toughest match or the greatest challenge?
Can I take a guess?
Faced?
Yeah.
And then do you want to take a guess?
I'll take a guess.
I feel like you looked the worst against Cole. Yeah. But you looked good against him as well. But I feel like it looked like you struggled the most against Cole.
Cole's probably also the most technical.
It looked like you were just always in defensive cycles against him.
Your guard retention, but against Cole was
Yeah. The problem was like at that time I didn't really have a good wrestling game. I didn't really have a good wrestle up game. I was still fairly like how do you say? I was still fairly like locked into that one thing.
Yeah.
You're
more one-dimensional.
Yeah, I was more one-dimensional. Like,
who would you say your toughest opponent is then?
I mean, probably either. That's a hard question. Probably DeAndre.
Okay.
DeAndre, yeah.
He's really good.
I feel like.
Didn't you beat him?
I did beat him once.
Yeah.
But he's beaten me.
Yeah.
I think
that's insane.
Recently
but I feel like when you beat him though, it was like you were a little bit unknown still. You know what? I remember you were purple belt.
Yeah. I was brown belt. Yeah.
Oh, brown belt.
There's definitely that unknown factor. Look, when I first went against him, like he definitely was like very cocky. He was like, "Who's this gun? I'm gonna beat him up." He was like giving me like entanglements to try to like counter me. Like he definitely didn't approach the match as seriously as he did.
Yeah.
And I think that. I'm not saying
that
it took away, but it definitely played away in my favor. And
the next time it was a little bit more careful.
Yeah, I heard like they went through a whole training camp to try to beat me. He's very good, and he managed to, like his game plan against me was perfect. Because especially like at that time, I was still like a brown belt. I only had leg locking and guard play. I didn't really have a good top game. I didn't know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
And he pretty much went into it, was like, all right, shut down his leg entanglements. Don't give him inside position. Let's like camp him out in his fist squat position. Let's like slow everything down and let's pass him. And then he got towards the armbar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he armbarred you down
Yeah,
the
he
front,
armbarred
so,
me, yeah.
Okay. Would you say that's your like number one submission hit against you? Arm
Yeah,
locks?
I mean, now I've been working on like defending it, and now I'm at the point where I can get people fully locked in arm bars and escape. But like,
Yeah, no, I've been on the receiving end. I started a fully extended armbar on David and he gets out. So
I figured out some details on the
Yeah.
reverse turn out by watching J-Rod, and
Yeah.
I haven't been armbarred in a couple of weeks now.
yeah. Sorry, are you gonna say something, Nick? Yeah. So
Oh yeah, Nick did armbar me the other day, but that's
Did he?
only that's only
is that why he piped up? He looked. He was about to say something. Yeah.
that's only because I like fully locked up. I waited till my arm was extended and then tried to turn, and I couldn't really brush off the legs. And
You're
I
not
think,
going to
look,
give him any benefit. It's only good.
Yeah, he did a good job. But look, I think if you're not getting submitted, I think if you're not getting submitted in training, you're not putting yourself in bad position. You're not approaching it properly.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You should
Like,
be getting submitted
yeah.
a lot in training.
I get submitted a lot in training.
Yeah.
Especially by
Especially by me.
you
Yeah.
and David.
Yeah.
And Chris. Chris has given me a spanking in the gi my whole life, so don't worry. I have like a bit of PTSD when I roll with Chris. I like
Now,
kind of get
on that
scared.
topic, Dave, like, how much of your training do you split into working, like sharpening the skills that you want to take to your next comp versus building new skills? And do you go through phases where if you're building up to a comp, you potentially are just working things that you're going to use?
It's definitely a phase thing. So like I view it as like I try to plan out like what competitions I'm gonna do. Obviously it's hard because some competitions come late notice.
Yeah.
But generally like when there's not an immediate competition, I train more. I know this sounds insane, but I train more when I'm not in training camp than I'm in training camp.
So you're like developing your skills more. Yeah.
When I'm not in training camp, the intensity of my training just goes down by so much. So I can do more rounds, I can do more training, and then I pretty much focus on my weaknesses and focus on adding new stuff to my game. Like now, for example, because I'm coming off the injury, I've just been working pretty much passing and armbar escapes, and my passing, my half guard passing, my body lock passing has gone like a lot better, and my armbar escapes have gone so much better. So I think because
I feel like that's like something I wanted to touch on is like you obviously have had a massive climb really quickly. And the question a lot of students ask me, because you coach at our gym 2 days a week, is they go, how did you get good so quickly? Like, obviously it's like, we know it's a good training room. We know it's a good coach. Like, and you are very smart. Like I can see that when I train with you, and you have like a really intelligent approach to jiu-jitsu and like other things in life in general. Like, do you have another thing that you would say to people when they ask you the question, how do you get good so quickly?
Yeah, obviously the main thing was like me just being obsessed with it. So like pretty much from the time I found it and decided I really liked it, it was like all I think about was that. Like that was it. Like
Well, I remember when we first kind of met, like which was like what 3 or 4 years ago. Like you were like, I remember you used to tell me your routine, and correct me if I'm wrong. It was like you'd get up, you'd have breakfast, you'd get up like kind of late-ish, like around 10. And you'd go training, or 9 or something, and you'd be at the training at like 10. You'd have breakfast and then go train, and then after the 10 a.m. class, you'd watch your rounds on the camera while you're having lunch, and then write down what you did wrong, and then do the lunch class, and then do the same, like do the training, fix what you did wrong, then watch your rolls, and then help the kids class or something.
Pretty much.
And then do the night class, and then watch your rolls when you got home in bed, and then watch instructionals, and then go to bed and repeat that. Saturdays and Sundays as well. And I was like, what the fuck? That's like, you're autistic as fuck, dude. Like, I
pretty much like said goodbye to like social life. So I just stopped hanging out with my friends and just focused on jiu-jitsu. But I think it paid off. But like in terms of training, I only
100% it paid off. I
only trained twice a day. So I think more than twice a day is too much. So I did
But I think back then you were doing more volume, right? Like
it's
you were
hard,
drilling, you were doing other stuff. I remember you were doing like 3 sessions a day at one point.
Mainly two.
Two
sessions. Maybe lifting weights as well, but 2 sessions mainly. And it was hard to keep up, especially because my body couldn't adapt to the training load. So I did get like, I was overtraining a lot.
Were you getting more injured when you were overtraining?
100%.
Okay. So you've like reduced that, and I know you're working with Elliot now, who works with us for strength and conditioning. Do you have a S&C plan that you follow strictly? Like I know some of the boys here do, and
I do. I lift weights like religiously, like 2 to 3 times a week. I find like it's kind of hard to balance with jiu-jitsu, but Elliot's great because I can like talk back to him. I can give him feedback if I feel like I'm getting too if I feel like I'm getting too fatigued when my training takes an impact. I can tell him we can reduce the volume.
Yeah.
So it's great having someone I can work with.
Yeah.
And I can tell like what my needs are, and he can like fix them to match my needs.
For sure.
Do you think a lot of jiu-jitsu athletes probably don't optimize their lifting schedule and their
100%.
conditioning
I know
schedule?
there's a big talk about Nicky Ryan, like never.
Yeah, and why is
training.
that? Why do you think that is?
I think laziness is one aspect. Another thing, it's like it's interesting because I think like strength and conditioning, it kind of depends on like which phase in your career you're in to an extent. So I think if you're like a white to purple belt, I don't think it matters as much. I know this sounds like insane, but I think if you're white to purple belt, you'll be better off essentially like replacing that strength and conditioning session with like a jiu-jitsu session. I think that's going to help you overall. Because the main reason why...
Like if you want to get to that world level,
Like, so the main reason why you suck isn't because you're strong enough. It's because you don't understand the technique. You're not training properly. You need more training volume.
Yeah.
Lifting weights, getting stronger, like it's going to help you, sure, but it's not going to help you as much as like that 1 or 2 extra jiu-jitsu
it's
sessions
more
a
like
week.
an injury prevention thing,
Exactly,
like a rehab thing. Yeah.
And
but it's
then-
not gonna like. I know
Exactly.
John talks about that. Like he says, it's like not gonna like no amount of strength and conditioning is gonna significantly increase your jiu-jitsu ability. It's like just training that's gonna.
Yeah,
do it.
obviously there's baseline strength that you need.
Yeah.
So if you're just weak as piss, like you're
Yeah.
going to struggle no matter
Yeah.
what. But I think like the more and more advanced you get, the I wouldn't say the less technical gains you can make from adding another session. So if you're already training like 12 times a week, one more jiu-jitsu session isn't going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But maybe 2 strength and conditioning sessions will give you that baseline strength, will give you that injury prevention you need to like really help you
Yeah.
get. Because at the end of the day, technique is like a leverage of strength. But if you don't have the baseline strength required to perform the technique, there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say your breakthrough moment was for you in jiu-jitsu in Australia?
Jiu-jitsu? Probably
I mean, I have a guess again, like, but
Yeah.
what would you say in your head that was like
probably when I was 19. When I was 19, I did the ADC trials in Australia.
Yeah.
And
the 2022 one? Right?
Yeah,
That's what I was going to
2022,
say
yeah.
as well.
that was a weird time because I just dropped out of university to
Yeah.
pursue jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That was like, I made the decision just to say, fuck it, I'm going to try jiu-jitsu out. I was making no money off jiu-jitsu at the time.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder to make a living back then because jiu-jitsu was, I would say it was less big at the time.
Yeah.
And I pretty much said, fuck it, I'm just going to train. Was making no money, living in my parents' house.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then 6 months of training every day, just training consistently. I got really good.
Yeah.
And then funny enough, I did a competition 2 weeks before and I lost the random purple belt comp.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember who to?
Yeah, some Irish dude. I forgot his name. I think he still trains. But
Yeah.
look, it was an IBJJF comp. It was purple belt, no leg locks, and at the time I only had leg locks.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd jump in for fun, and I ended up losing to like just a random
random,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, fuck, like I'm doing this full time. I lost to a
suck.
random guy. Like I suck. Can I make a living off it? And
Was
then
that the ADCC trials that you fought Jeremy in the finals?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
2 weeks before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I that motivated me to essentially come second, and
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah, we
was
went-
that
yeah.
was crazy. I actually remember speaking to you two and being like, because I'd spoken to you a little bit, and I remember being like, nah, fucking David is really good apparently, and according to Jeremy, was like, nah, this kid
Yeah.
like taps me in training, like he's gonna go
So
really good.
I remember seeing you on his leg in the finals.
And I remember you just blasting through, leg locking everyone, and
Yeah.
I was like, holy.
that was a fun
fuck.
day. It was like a perfect storm that day because
Yeah.
like knowing who I was.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's just a purple belt. Like,
Yeah.
who's this kid? And then it was almost like a sense where like people were underestimating me, and then I just pretty much went through. It's like heel hook,
Yeah.
another heel hook. Against Mikhail from Absolute, a well-known black belt. I tapped
And
him.
everyone was, well, he had a high seating, like a second or
Yeah.
third seating, and everyone was like,
you know, he'd been doing well at trials in the previous years. and
everyone's like-
known as a leg locker.
no one
Yeah.
can hear you, Nick. You got to bring the mic up. Yeah. Yeah.
Do that again.
No. Yeah, no, like obviously he's really good.
Yeah.
And he was, when he was full-time competing, he was even better. And everyone was like, yeah, he's going to smoke through you. And I
Yeah.
remember Jeremy pulling me aside being like, oh no, like, I don't know how this is going to go because David is really fucking good.
I think I tapped him in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It was very quick.
It was an ankle lock? It was a
It was
belly
a-
down or something?
It was a heel hook. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't think I popped him, but it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking tight.
Now,
yeah.
what-
And he's got short legs, man. Like, it would have been hard to get in.
Yeah, I was surprised.
You are the
it
master of
happened
getting
that
on the
quickly.
on the small people's legs, like Peaches and Mikhail and stuff. Like, so. Yeah,
What
were
is
you
the
gonna say?
effect of a trials medal? Because you've had 3 of them now, I believe.
Mm.
And I think it's a bit weird. People don't understand that Yeah.
Ironically, I did better when I was 19 than I did now. So I came second once and third twice.
Arguably the worst trials.
Yeah, the worst trials.
Yeah.
That's true. These ones are more competitive. But yeah.
But I mean, like, fuck, second 3 times, or sorry, second twice, or
Second once, third twice.
yeah, like that's still phenomenal.
Yeah, it's still phenomenal, yeah.
It's only look, in my opinion, it's only a matter of time, and I've told you so many times you're gonna win. Like in my head, you are 100% gonna win, and you're gonna make that world championship.
Yeah.
What's your like kind of mindset for that now?
Yeah. Well, like the main thing, I know it sounds cliche. It's like even if I don't win, like you still take away a lot from it.
Yeah.
So especially these last ones, I just came into the trials way too heavy. Like I had a big weight cut. Weight cut went fine, but I feel like I couldn't really recover in between matches, and I essentially had one hard match. And
Was that the one against the Kazakh where you're just trying to break him for like 5 minutes and it was popping all over the
essentially just
shop?
blew my load. Like
Yeah.
I just like used all my energy trying to break his leg. Couldn't break his leg. Ended up taking his back and finishing him. But I was just so like fatigued that and I didn't really have much time to recover, and I ended up losing. To Daiki, which he's very good, and he had a very good game plan too.
Our take upon watching that, you were obviously in Thailand, losing in the first round, Nick. But I remember watching Dave's match, and we were like, you looked fucking yellow. Like your lactic acid, you looked so tired with the Daiki. It looked like you just gassed. Like you just like kind of lost like energy at one point, and you just like, fuck it.
Essentially, like I remember.
It was like your mental broke before your...
I remember hitting overtime.
Yeah.
And then I shot a double leg. I got behind him, and then I fell off. And then I remember just like seeing stars and everything going like my vision going blurry.
Yeah.
And then he starts passing me. I tried twirling, defending the score, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything from him because look, like part of the skill of competing is managing all the things around it. So it was a mistake I made coming into heavy. Like it's not an excuse. Like I made the mistake. Like I could have done better.
Yeah.
I didn't. And these trials I'm be much more prepared, and I'm
how much weight do you cut?
Usually I come in the week before around like 73.5. I think when I flew in from Thailand, I was like, obviously
That's like 7 kilos.
when I stepped on the scale, obviously like you retain more water when you fly. I was 75 kilos.
When you landed?
Yeah, when I landed, it was 75 kilos. And then from there, I brought it down to 66. The weight cut wasn't too bad. I only passed that once. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Who fought Daiki in Singapore?
David.
I
David
did
beat
again.
him.
That's what I thought.
And like that was such a cool match. Like
That was an easy match.
I back triangled him.
If like, well, it looked like you kind of handled him pretty easily. So when you fought Daiki again, like I know he was game planning for you with Joseph.
Yeah, obviously, like he got a lot better in between that time. So
Yeah.
credit to him. Like he improved a lot. He improved his wrestling. He improved his passing, and
Yeah. And I know he didn't want to play guard against you again, right? Because you're...
Yeah. I actually feel
I
like...
think you feel like that match, like you showed everyone, fuck, I can pass too. You know what I mean? Like
exactly, yeah. I felt like my passing was good, but the problem was like I was kind of dropping to my knees and he was throwing in a reverse close guard.
Yeah.
And like he didn't tap me from there, but that would just slow down the match. Like once I was stuck there, it would take me like 30 seconds to escape, and then the transition was 50-50.
Yeah.
Then I'd escape that. And then I was just like stuck on defensive cycles. Well, if you look at the first match I had against him, it was like
he was under the pump the whole time.
He was under the pump the whole time. There was no chance where he was resting. I was constantly going side to side.
It looked exhausting.
Burying my head in. Like it made me tired, but he was tired as well.
Yeah.
While this match, I was like, he was like resting. He was locking his legs around up, and then he would try to leg lock me. I would escape. And then he tried sweeping. Like I think the game plan could have changed a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. No, well, hopefully, when's the next trials at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think December 7th in Thailand again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a lot lighter, a lot better shape.
Yeah.
Lifting weights more now. I'm stronger than I've ever been. My weight has lower. It's been lower. The weight cut's gonna be so much more smoother. Like everything's looking good.
Do you know if Ethan's going to be doing it as well?
Yeah, Ethan's gonna be doing the 77.
Okay.
So
He's going up.
he's going up. Yeah.
All right.
He's decided.
News for everyone.
Ethan's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's very good.
He's a fucking scary man. Train with him.
I used to train with him in the gi. He's always been a beast.
He's the most athletic person I've ever met.
And he only trains like once or twice a week, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Or something like that.
He like works essentially 2 jobs, and he's
Yeah.
still very high level. It's very
Yeah.
impressive how
Yeah.
he does it. It's crazy.
Oh,
He's
credit
like
to him.
one of the most like. Not only is he like one of the toughest dudes I've ever met, he's also insanely athletic.
Yeah. Who's your, I guess, your hardest role then for...
Probably Ethan when he comes in, like
Yeah.
fuck, like
You're like, fuck this, I don't want to roll with you, like 2 times.
no,
in a row.
I love rolling them.
Yeah.
But, he's definitely my toughest.
I remember you always wanted to train with Jeremy when you were purple brown brown
Yeah,
belt.
so like
you would
leading
always
up to
seek
the-
him out. Like,
Leading up to the Australian trials, I think me and Jeremy would do like 4 to the 7 rounds with each other.
Yeah.
And it would just be like me and him trying to kill each other the
Yeah.
whole time. It definitely helped us a lot. Like
Yeah.
preparing. Well, it's not the best for skill development, but it's the best for like sharpening your tools.
yeah. Like, no, he always gives you like really big credit.
Yeah.
He's always like, oh, David fucks me up. Like, David fucks me up, you know. And I'm sure he's done the same to you. But
Yeah,
like,
he would get me too.
Yeah,
Like, it was
like-
pretty even
but
exchanges.
he always talks highly of you. So, but you
Yeah.
excited for end of the year then?
Definitely, I'm very pumped. I'm gonna try to get as much competition before then, and then yeah.
And the winner, so for everyone that doesn't know, gets a ticket to go to Worlds in Las Vegas.
Yeah, if you win the trials and you come first, second and third don't get anything, which
Yeah.
is good. You get a ticket to Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
Do you win money? Second and third? Did you get any money at the other
I got
ones?
nothing, yeah.
Just get a
Which is fair
shiny
enough,
medal.
yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah,
See
fair
what I
enough.
mean?
Aside from ADCC, what other competitions do you have your eyes on? I mean, CGI's
Yeah.
obviously come on the scene and is like pretty big now, but
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been replaced by Frabusha Andre, which is a good choice, but yeah,
did you want that spot?
I did. I think like 66 in Australia, like
Fuck's sake, Lockie. Come on,
it's
bro.
kind of like I don't know.
We got to home grow the talent, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the obvious choice. I mean, who's actually competes at 66 kilos?
I think I'm the obvious choice. to be honest.
fair enough.
If they had a roosterweight division, 55 kilos, I'd pick you.
Shut up, Nick.
If they had a gay division,
I'd pick Finn because I lost to him.
True.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Also, the questions I get a lot are less so about your jiu-jitsu, but like, what do you like outside of the gym, like as a person? Like, what does David do? And I'm just usually like, look, he usually just does jiu-jitsu. But I know you have other hobbies as
Yeah.
well.
Like, you remind me of Meow when he got interviewed.
Yeah.
Like, do you do anything apart from jiu-jitsu?
Like, I know there's other things you like to do, so enlighten us of. Take us through, you know, we tried this with
Average
Nick,
day.
but we didn't really get far.
Okay.
Take us through a typical Sunday, a typical rest day of David.
Sunday. So
That's your rest day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sunday, I'd say.
I still train on Sundays sometimes.
Okay.
So Sunday, I wake up, I sleep in a little bit, probably wake up at 9, and then I always go to this same cafe and I get the same thing every Sunday.
What do you eat? What is it?
Bacon egg roll, but they do a really good bacon egg roll. It's like Turkish bread. They lightly toast it. They put a little bit of butter on it. They put a bit of cheese. Cheese melts. They put the eggs on really nice, and then the bacon, just amazing.
Any
You get
sauce? Any sauce?
barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we were having this argument with my wife this morning, like barbecue or tomato sauce.
What'd you
I
say?
mix it up every now and then.
Yeah. I go tomato usually.
And
To
to
be
make
honest.
it said-
Tomato.
No,
You?
barbecue.
A lot of Australians really like barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so does David, you know.
Actually, I like Tabasco. I'm a Tabasco person.
That's a rare one. I don't think like many
You
people
can't
put
slather Tabasco on, but
Yeah, you can.
nevertheless, after your bacon egg roll,
And then sometimes I go to church, whether I feel like it or not. And then after that, I have like 2-3 hours to kill. So usually I just walk around, get some
Get
steps
blood
in.
flow.
Yeah, some active recovery.
nice.
And then from there, I go rock climbing. So that's something I recently started doing. I absolutely suck at it, but I
Yeah.
think it's a little bit of fun. There's
Yeah.
a rock climbing gym in Penrith. And then from there, I usually like do a little bit of studying, watch some matches,
Yeah.
and then I
Do you still find it enjoyable, or do you find it like tedious
No, no,
still
no.
watching jiu-jitsu?
I think it's very important that like you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I've actually started studying less now than I did before, and I've been focused on like the quality of my study more than the quantity. Because I feel like before I would just like watch instructionals, I'd just be so bored watching them. I'd be like nodding my head, be like,
Yeah.
And
It
then,
was just like monotonous.
yeah, I wouldn't actually like learn anything from it. I was just watching it for the sake of watching it. Where now like maybe I'll study for like an hour a day.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, only an hour. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But like that hour is like very useful. It's like
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm like studying other things. I'm picking up like information.
You're not just like
very well.
overloading
Exactly,
your
yeah.
CNS. Like,
What does your process look like? Is it just instructionals? Or are you watching match footage as well?
I think-
rolling footage.
I think at the beginning, instructionals are very easy, but I've the more advanced you get, I think the more you want to transition from watching instructionals and then watching matches.
Yeah.
So I think watching matches, I've had this like internal dialogue in my head for a while. I think watching matches is the superior option long term because you can develop.
yeah, Chris has always
your-
said that.
Yeah.
Always watch matches.
You develop your own understanding of what's actually happening. So rather than getting someone spoon feeding you information, where like you can pretend you understand it and you can think like you understand it, but you probably don't understand it. You like you're remembering the information, but you don't understand it.
Yeah.
You can like break down sequences. You can learn what's happening, and then you can do from there. And a lot of times,
Yeah, it's like important to be
Yeah.
able to engineer,
Yeah.
like, or reverse engineer what's happening in the match,
exactly
like yourself.
And not even that. A lot of times, you learn more off the moves that fail than ones
Yeah,
that
I
actually
like
do.
to see things under resistance.
Yeah, like if a move fails, you'll learn more off that than if it actually works.
Can you give us an example?
Are you taking notes? Are you just watching and trying to remember, or are you writing things down? Are you clipping things and going back to them?
Yeah, usually I write notes afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. I'll clip them. I'll watch them back. I don't know. A good example is like Gordon Verstappen or Josh Saunders, for example. Josh tried to invert underneath his opponent.
Yeah.
Right, and then he off balanced him, got his hands to the mat, and what looked to be a perfect setup for an inversion. And then Gordon dropped to his knee, and then like pulls his knees together. And at the moment, I recognized, oh, like, why did that shut down the inversion? Right, that shut down the inversion because Gordon closed the space in between his knees, so his head had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So you recognize like you need another option from there because it failed. See what I mean?
Yeah. So like you would say that at the moment, match analysis gives you the best like feedback for your jiu-jitsu.
Match analysis and watching back motor rolling footage.
Yeah.
So match analysis.
Do you do
I
that
use-
just on the cameras at SWMA?
Yeah. Match analysis I used to like get new ideas to implement in my training and try to understand like what other people are doing. And then watching my own rolling footage is kind of like identifying my mistake, identifying the things I'm doing intuitively, but I don't actually know what I'm doing, so I can like systemize them better. And then so kind of like I use both as a good tool.
Yeah, cool.
Do you watch your opponents?
Yeah. Usually if I have a match, I try to game plan. So against Souza, I was watching a lot of his tape study, and then I pretty much built my game plan around like not giving him any space. So if you looked at my match, anytime he stepped backwards, anytime he tried going around the outside, I'd retain. But the moment he went too far, I'd just stand up.
Yeah.
And then I knew like he can't pass me if I stand up.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Now he's got to take me down again. He's got to grab me. He's got to make connection.
Yeah, and because there's no points, like
Exactly.
there's no consequence to
And as
being-
soon as you make connection,
Yeah.
I can now start attacking him because that's what I want is like if you're playing guard, you just want them to engage.
And is that something that like you go through with your team and like with Luke and stuff, or is that like something you go, this is what I think, Luke, and you bring it to him, or what's how like kind of take us through how you would plan for a match like that behind the scenes?
Luke will help me as well, but I think the main thing is like having someone you can bring your feedback to.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you will go into like these bad loops where like you are like wrong, incorrect, or you're looking at it too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And having someone you respect or you trust who's like going to be brutally honest, whether like you like to hear it or not. Like Luke's very honest, so like he'll tell me what's true and what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like if I have it around and he'll be like, you fucked up on this. You should have done this better. And I'll be like, well, yeah. Sometimes it'll irritate me, but like, just having that trust, like he actually means the best for you. He actually wants you to improve the best.
But I think you have like a long-term relationship with your coach as well, that you know he doesn't just care about your jiu-jitsu, like he cares about your overall well-being.
Yeah, I've been with Luke since I was like 15.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know Nick has a question, so.
What's your question, Nick?
Wrestling or judo? What do you think's better for jiu-jitsu?
I mean, I have heaps of questions,
Please,
but
wait,
we'll go through this.
But wait, can you please answer the way you answered the other day?
No, but
No,
can you explain
how you answer in the way that you believe is the best.
Can we let
answer.
Chris tell the backstory about this question?
No, there's no backstory behind the question.
No, there is a backstory.
No, there's no backstory behind it. I'll say the question again, and then if you want to add something, you can add something. All right.
Why are you touching me?
I was about to say, why do you have to touch him when
why
that
are you
happens?
touching
So
He's the first opening.
if you were going to build,
Is that sexual
As I
harassment,
said,
by the way?
it's not a but he's also the HR leader.
That's
so.
true.
It's HR leader.
If
Yeah,
you were
Chris
going
is
to
in
build
charge of HR.
your ideal jiu-jitsu athlete,
Yeah.
let's say you can give them 10 years of training in either wrestling or judo before they begin jiu-jitsu. 10 years of training. What would you put them in first? For 10 years of
I
training.
feel that's a
before-
more specific question than the one we usually
he's
ask.
like
He's changing it now, yeah.
Bro, you're setting it up.
Okay, well, let's hear the answer.
Let's hear the answer, yeah.
Let's-
I'm going to get a water while you discuss the answer.
I think it depends where. So like where are they doing the wrestling or where are they doing the judo? Can we pick where?
So let's say equally good schools in their discipline.
The only problem is like if you send them to the American style of wrestling, it's like they're gonna be tough, they're gonna be good, but they're gonna be fucking injured. Like the Americans overtrain a lot. Like they're getting smarter about it now, but like generally the ideology is train harder and just go hard. Make yourself exhausted. Thanks, mate. Yeah, but the Russian style and even the Japanese style to an extent, it's about like lighter training and being more technical. If you ever watch like old footage of like Adam Saitiev or Buzova Saitiev training, like it's very flowy. They flow. They're still going hard, but there's an aspect of trying to learn, trying to improve their technique. And there's almost like that. They look after each other when they train. They're not trying to kill each other.
So let's say
they're
then
trying to protect.
a Russian
What did he end up
school.
picking? Wrestling or judo?
We haven't got
Okay.
to that yet. Let's say a Russian wrestling school or a Japanese judo academy. 10 years of training either one before they begin their jiu-jitsu journey. What would you pick? And why?
I'd probably pick like the Russian wrestling system, just because if you watch people like Adam and Bizu Rasadiev, I think they have like probably one of the best wrestling styles for jiu-jitsu, because if you watch them wrestle, they use a lot of judo in the wrestling, so it's like a mixture of both. They're not doing one thing, and that's why I think they had so much success, because they were doing something different. Right? Judo wrestlers do double legs, underhooks. Well, they were combining their attacks with foot sweeps, with throws, and then chaining them back towards single leg and double legs. Like, it's very smooth and very efficient.
Yeah.
So
It's a great answer.
we can decide on wrestling.
Wrestling.
Well,
Send them
in
to
that
Russia.
context, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll give Chris the win on this one.
Absolutely not.
Just because like
I kind of I watched John's standing instructional.
Yeah.
And he, as a general term, said, and I'll get to John because I wanted to ask you questions about John. He kind of said that he thinks judo and upper body throws are better for jiu-jitsu, but I think he's talking about the ADCC rule set, and he's talking specifically about longer matches, and he's saying, and it's kind of like one strategy we implement a lot at 411
That's true.
that I know you implement a lot at Sydney West, like, which is like, and I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Axel kind of did this to Nick in their match, like a lot of fatiguing for the first few minutes of the match.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a 15-minute match, like 10 minutes of fatiguing, and then we're going to execute the takedown. And you're going to get more fatigue shooting on lower body takedowns and having yourself be sprawled on, put into guillotines.
At the end of the day, it all depends on your style as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're, So, I guess John's right in that aspect where like judo, it's a very upright stance. So the longer match you do, you're not going to get fatigued quicker because you're going to be used to the upright stance. And then...
and I know Gordon says like he's less athletic, so he likes upper body stuff better because he doesn't he doesn't feel like he can close distance on double legs, which I
also
feel
very,
the same.
very low risk for him. He never puts himself in a bad position.
Yeah.
When he's wrestling, it's very easy.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, based on that, do you think...
Yeah, I think the longer matches, the longer the match goes, judo definitely favors it.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Yeah. But I think maybe for like if you're looking at it from like the average thing, like
Nick's looking very coy here.
6 minute ADCC match,
Yeah.
like judo's not going to help very much.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's mainly about your wrestling.
Do you think 8 minutes it would help? I know there's a very specific question, but there's a reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's a blend, but like maybe like 20-minute ADCC finals.
Yeah, for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say the longer the match goes, the more it favors judo. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And in wrestling, it's like...
And I know he did a
post.
post recently, sorry to cut you off, Nick, saying that John was like the best jiu-jitsu competitor will be discovered, or like you'll only know which one the best is in a longer match. Like he's like, it's impossible to tell who the best is. And when we spoke about that off the mic, you were talking about Taza, how he does way better in like 20-minute matches because he can just scramble at the end of matches. Like, kind of what are your thoughts on that?
That's true. Yeah, I think, well, the more that can happen. So the problem with a 6-minute match, or even like IBJJF matches, which is why I don't like IBJJF, it's like, it's not only the best person doesn't always win. It's like the people who can like explode for that 1 or 2 seconds and then chill and stall for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Well, so if I'm in a 6-minute match, I can give all my energy in the beginning. I can maybe make a slight mistake at the beginning. I score 2 points and then I have to do absolutely nothing to like, I can just defend, I can do nothing. So why I don't like grappling industries, 5 minutes, they can just stall and do nothing and then they win. It's like not really a good rule set, but the longer the match goes, the more it's about pacing, it's about how you engage them, more about reading patterns in your opponent, how are they playing, what are their strengths, and it's like I think that's really where like your skill will come, because like when you're doing long training rounds, you have to be efficient. It's about who's better technically.
But on that point of the federation rule set, is there not a skill to protecting those points?
Definitely, but I think that skill doesn't really. It's like kind of a different skill, because competing and being good at jiu-jitsu are two different skills, right? There's some competitors who win everything, but aren't technically good, aren't what I would call good at jiu-jitsu. Like, yes, they have the accolades, but you try to ask them a question about what would you do from this scenario where you attack the armbar, or how would you finish this? They'd be like, grab your hand here, push something. I'm not gonna mention names, but so
I think that's very common.
So like competing, it's a separate skill, and I think you develop the skill of gaming the system and learning how to just in that small specific scenario how to win. And I don't think that translates well to like overall skill.
So do you think ADC is what you're saying that you're saying rule sets are better when they're closer to pure grappling,
Yes.
which means it's
Yeah.
submission oriented?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I mean,
ADCC is a better rule set according to you because it's closer to a rule set where the submission is more the focus and not protecting your points.
it's kind of tricky because ADCC is like a mixture of submission
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
And then
that is why I
points
like
as well.
ADCC, because it's a
So
mix.
then, on that logic,
Why I like ADCC? Because like, in order to win decisively, you have to almost like it has to be decisive. So there's opportunity for your opponent to defend, to like come back. So if they get taken down in ADCC, right, you can turtle, you can defend, you can pull back to guard, right? In order for someone to take you down and score, it needs to be like decisive. They need to take you back. They need to hold you down for like more than 3 seconds. They need to stop your
I agree.
movement. Like it's decisive. Like
What do you think of? Sorry, go
perform
on.
the move. It's not just luck. It's
Yeah,
decisive.
go.
just following from that,
Yeah.
to you, the best rule set overall in terms of deciding who is a better grappler would be submission only. No time limit submission only.
Yeah, obviously, I think pure grappling. I mean, if you look at what the goal of grappling is, which is to submit your opponent, you have to just say that is the best rule set.
Yeah.
But it's also not entertaining because now you get those tactics of like, let me do nothing. Let's do a Kyle Chambers, for example. Let's sit here like this. We'll protect our neck. Like there's matches like this is why I don't like EBI matches because people give up their back to fatigue the other person, and then in overtime they try to beat them because they're less tired. So yeah.
So ignoring like the confusion of understanding the rule set on the last subversion, do you like that 10-minute sub only rule set because it's like there's no points, it's just pure grappling trying to finish the guy?
Well, I like it when like it's clear. So like
So I'm saying like putting that apart, like that you guys were confused on what like let's just say like next event 10-minute sub only rule set, and you're clear on the rules of what is going to score. Do you like that
But
kind
then,
of rule set?
here's the thing:
Yeah.
if you're clear on what's like the score, then it's points, but
Just
you're not
watch out,
counting
Nick,
points.
just leaning on the table.
Like if you give a clear like criteria, then it's
Yeah.
points. You're just not counting the points.
Yeah.
If they're like, all right, we're gonna value passes and the takedowns,
Yeah.
and we're gonna count how many takedowns you get, then it's just points. You're
Yeah.
just literally counting points.
Yeah.
Another thing, like what
If
counts?
it's like only submission attempts, I guess, then fuck takedowns, fuck pass attempts, fuck mount.
That's one aspect of it,
Yeah.
but yeah, as long as they're clear on the rules
Yeah.
and that. But I don't know. I feel like if it's
Do you think jiu-jitsu becomes subjective at that point?
I feel like,
it's
if
art?
it's I feel like you
like
want to
judges will be like, I think you won because I
Yes.
value mount
which I think
more than the back.
what the problem is.
Yeah.
I think like you should make, if you have a scoring criteria, you should make it very objective, which is
Yeah.
why ADC is good because, well, ADC is still subjective to a degree, but it's more objective. You have the points, you have how to score.
Yeah.
There's like arguments how to win. Sometimes it's like what is a takedown to another judge isn't a takedown to another judge,
Yeah.
and then they'll value that more than the other thing. So
Yeah.
I think if it's not no time limit, you kind of want to have like some degree of points or be able to tell like who's winning the match. That's
Yeah.
why I think like who's number one is a really good rule set because who's number one is like it's no points, right? But they have that like period where it's like, all right, this guy's winning on the judges, this guy's winning on the judges.
Do you like rounds like the UFC, like CGI did?
I like rounds.
Yeah.
One of my favorite rule sets was actually Aiga.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy competing on that because I feel like the 3 5-minute rounds give you like insight of who's winning, what I
Yeah.
need to do, how do I approach the next match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like rounds.
Okay. And so jiu-jitsu aside, like I would say, what's your current like living arrangement? Are you living on your own? Because I know the other day we were like talking about, you were like, my dad has an apartment in the city. Like where are you currently living? Like you out near Sydney West?
Yeah, I live in
Just for people that don't know, like
I live in Springwood, so I live in the Blue Mountains.
yeah,
So-
which is like a popular tourist area for people that visit.
Yeah, it's good.
Not
It's like
Springwood, but the Blue Mountains are.
Blue Mountains. Yeah. So Springwood's like the lower Blue Mountains, so it's not like too far up. It's
Yeah.
around like a 30-minute drive from Penrith, and
Yeah.
like maybe an hour drive to the city.
Yeah.
I like it. So Penrith is kind of a shithole. There's lots of junkies around.
It's getting better though. Like
getting better.
It is gentrifying. Like they
We
make a
have-
new airport.
yeah.
And when I went
We
with
got a
you,
beach.
We have a beach
We got
now.
a beach now. Yeah.
when we used to do Sunday training
Bondi.
sessions. Yeah, Bondi.
Bondi's great.
Someone drowned at Bondi on the first day.
Really?
They opened it. Yeah.
They need Bondi rescue.
Yeah.
They do. There's like 4 lifeguards there at all
Is that
times.
because no one goes swimming out that way?
No, they went
I've never been.
paddleboarding. They went paddleboarding, and they didn't have a life jacket,
Oh, and they can't swim.
and they didn't know how to swim.
That's what I'm saying. Is it more common that they don't know how to swim out there?
I think that's an education issue, not a danger issue.
But when we used to do the Sunday sessions, like I was like, you were like, oh, there's this cafe I like to go to, and I thought it was just gonna be some shithole, but it was really nice.
There's
it was
good
like,
spots in Penrith.
Yeah.
There's good spots. You
And
just
I was
gotta
like,
find them.
Yeah, and it was
Yours-
like this little hidden area, and I was like, oh fuck yeah! Like
Yeah.
you're taking me through some dark alleyways, dude.
I'm a Penrith connoisseur. I find all the good spots. I know where all the best sushi, all the best coffee.
No, you
all the
didn't.
best-
You were like, Supper showed me this place.
That's true. Well, yeah, you find out through other people. You still
yeah.
find out.
yeah.
But Penrith's getting better. Like they have a lot of good like restaurants now.
Yeah, it looks good.
Good Japanese place.
I didn't think it was too bad. Like
It's not. It's getting better.
Yeah, giving it a bad rap, mate.
Yeah. But the Blue Mountains are much nicer.
Do you think-
Nature. You wake up. You can go for a bushwalk.
Do you think part of the reason behind Sydney West martial arts success is that Penrith is probably the gym in an area closest to that of Brazil?
No, Penrith is not that bad. I think Brazil is like
okay.
on another level.
Oh,
I think it definitely helps. Look, I think like having a gym near the city, like or near the beach, it's like it's very tempting after training. Just to, all right, let's go to the beach, let's chill, let's relax, let's do nothing. While in Penrith, there's nothing to do. Right,
get
I'm at the
training.
gym.
Do you reckon like because it's like because you're saying it's like more Dara and stuff that you attract like the more fighter type, like the
Yeah, I mean definitely that you attract more blue collar workers, which isn't a
Yeah,
bad thing. But
yeah.
but yeah, I think like the population and demographic you teach through is a lot different. Like
Yeah.
my classes here versus my class at Sydney West, it's different. I feel like it's different. It's a different crowd of people that you attract.
yeah. What's like the main differences you think? Like,
I would
that
say
you
definitely
highlight?
in at City West it's a lot less liberal. You can make fun of each other a lot more. People get less offended.
I don't think we're liberal.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I try to keep it toned down. I don't know my crowd quite yet.
You're sitting there saying you do Hitler defense and George Floyd submissions. Like I think that's pretty non-liberal, and
If
no one
that's
says
toned down,
anything.
Yeah, we were talking about a back defense, and when someone has their hand underneath the neck, doing this motion here, I refer to it as the Adolf defense, just because of the hand placement.
Like, I mean,
I think it's an accurate way to describe it.
I think you're not describing differences in the gym. Well, I don't know, I'm being defensive of my gym, but like you're saying the eastern suburbs is more liberal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Like I agree with that. Yeah, and you think
More sensitive,
You
I'd
think
say.
out
More
west is more
sensitive.
conservative, like from a geopolitical sense.
Well, here's the thing. It's like
because
I
now you're
don't-
spending time in both.
I don't actually know because all I do is train jiu-jitsu. I don't
Yeah.
interact with normal
Yeah.
people. So that's the thing. I think you're forgetting. Like, I don't go out and talk to like normal. I wake up. Like, here's my day. I wake up. I get to the gym at 10 and I leave at 10. I'm there
Yeah.
12 hours. By the time I leave, it's nighttime. I
Yeah.
eat. I go to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
during that time in between sessions, I'll get food. I'll go back to the gym. I'll have a nap. I'll lift weights. I'll study.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything else apart
Yeah.
training jiu-jitsu and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't do anything else. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, back to your living. So you live with your parents.
Yeah.
Still. Any plans to do your own thing, move out on your own, or
Yeah,
do you prefer to save money? Or
I thought about it, but I definitely could if I wanted to. I think talking about with my mates, like moving out to Penrith and like having
a jiu-jitsu house?
jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
house. I don't know how well that go. I'm definitely looking at. I've moved out before, especially
Oh, really?
when I lived out in America.
Yeah.
It's only
Oh, yeah,
short
yeah,
stints
yeah.
of times,
Right.
but like, yeah.
Do you like having your own space, or do your parents like kind of leave you alone? Like,
Well, here's the thing. I'm never there anyway, so it doesn't bother me.
yeah,
So,
it's just like a bed to sleep on, pretty much. Yeah.
I get there, I leave, I wake up, and then I make coffee and I leave.
Yeah.
And then I come back at nighttime and I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So I literally spend no time at home. So
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me.
Do your parents miss you? Do they like, oh, want to do something with you on the weekend? Or you don't really have
Sometimes
that relationship?
I just tell them like,
Yeah.
I'm busy. And,
Yeah, yeah.
this is what I want to do, and they understand.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Do you guys ever have like family dinner or? Nah.
every now and then I'll go meet up with
What
my
do you?
parents.
Is there anything that your mum makes that you're like, man, I miss that. Like that's good food. Like
My mom's not a very good cook, so I try doing my own cooking.
I share that. My mother was terrible at cooking.
There
my
were-
mum didn't cook much either.
My mum was an amazing cook.
Dude, you'd say
beautiful
anything's
cook.
amazing, bro. You eat chips from down the
I
road.
remember
Yeah.
when I first met you, I could tell.
Yeah. That's the one thing I miss about moving out is my mother's cooking.
Yeah. So live in Blue Mountains, and obviously you travel 30 minutes to Penrith, travel an hour here.
Yeah.
Are there any other gyms that you train at or teach at?
I teach at one gym. It's a weird timing. It's like at King's Academy.
Yeah.
I teach at.
How far is that for a drive for you?
It's like a 45-minute drive.
Okay.
It's a weird time. It's like 8 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Friday night.
Yeah.
It's great because it doesn't interfere with my training.
Yeah.
And just a little bit extra cash on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough where like jiu-jitsu has worked out where like if I wanted to move out, if I wanted to do all these things, I could easily. Like I'm making a full-time living off it. I'm making like pretty good money, all things considered.
Yeah.
And I'm doing what I want. Like I'd make a similar amount being a PE teacher than I am doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Which like looking back at a 19-year-old me, like that's insane. Like
Yeah.
And now I can actually really like focus on what I want to do in the future, which is like try to go overseas, try to travel, try to save up money and do seminars and all that.
Yeah.
Which is great. I'm very lucky and blessed to have the opportunity to do all that.
And so like you said you had stints in the US.
Yeah.
What's that like? Because obviously now you're training at Roka, like New Wave. Are you gonna have to train at like Kingsway or whatever it's called now? Like, are you gonna change over? Do you know what the go is? Or
Yeah, I believe they're just replacing, because Roka, a lot of people don't know, Roka isn't a gym, it's an office space. It's a sunglass company. And then there's a bunch of like office cubicles that people are working, and there's like a gym and mats.
Yeah.
And like we pretty much like we interact with the office people. Sometimes we say hi, but they do their own thing, and then we train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like
Do they train the jiu-jitsu classes, some of them?
No.
Yeah,
It's a very like segregated. Like I don't think the office people like the Roka people very much, which is fair enough. Like you're trying to do your job and you have fucking.
How did that come
training.
about?
I think I'm not sure exactly, but I'm not exactly sure, but I think like they were friends with some of the people. They had a mat space. They offered to let them train, and they were nice enough to like have them there.
Yeah.
But
So the infamous Roka, what's it like training there, just generally?
I think it's good because everyone there is kind of vetted to an extent. So the problem with training with like
Can you just so people who don't really know, can you explain like what it is to train at Roka? Because I feel like people don't understand like the prestige of being invited to train. It's like it's not something you can just rock up to.
Yeah. So Roka is a gym in Austin. So that John and Gordon and Jaron Cowler, the team New Wave, teach out of. When people go to Austin, they either go to two gyms to train with John. They either go to Henzo's, which is the public one, and Roka. I think both are equally good.
And John is like considered one of the best jiu-jitsu coaches of all time.
Yeah, John is probably the best jiu-jitsu coach of all time. He's coached multiple times ADC world champions like Gordon Ryan, Jaron Cowler.
Yeah. And so how do you get, like, before you start talking about the training, how does one get invited to train there? Is it just like you got to know someone, or does John?
I knew someone.
Yeah.
So you have two options. You pretty much rock up and you pray for the best, which doesn't work a lot of times unless you're really good. Or if you know someone, they can bet you in.
Yeah.
And you can like see how you go, and then if you're a good fit, you get accepted.
And is John like pretty like? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to know what John's like behind closed doors. Like, is he pretty cutthroat? Like, if you're like a spaz, is he just like, nah, you can't train here? Or how does he approach that conversation? Like,
he wants. John's a pretty friendly guy, so like. It depends what your intentions are. If your intentions are malicious and you're there to like hurt people, and you're actually a bad
like any gym,
partner,
you're gonna get kicked out.
Like you're like putting too much pressure on. You're not rolling respectfully. Like you're crashing into other people. You're like a risk. Like without hesitation, like you're gonna be you're gonna get in the boot, and fair enough. But like he's a fairly reasonable guy. Like he'll tell you like, look, like these are the things you need to work on. Like please fix them. Like he'll give you chances. He's very he's unforgiving, but he's very forgiving. Like he understands. Like if you make a mistake, he'll forgive.
Yeah, he gets human nature.
Exactly.
Is there anything about training in such a high level room that was unexpected, or that people might not realize? Like, it's not just hard training all the time. Is there something that's going on there that is different to other gyms that people might not know?
I think mainly the atmosphere. Like, I think the atmosphere is very like inspiring. So you have essentially a group of people who's there consistently every day, and they're all kind of driven in the same goal. They all want to become really, really good at the sport. They all want to like win competitions. They all want to eventually become the best and win ADC. And it's kind of inspiring to have a bunch of other people like that. And I feel like it definitely drives up the energy and focus in the room. Like when he's teaching, there's no music. There's like, you're drilling and there's no talking. It's like, you're just very focused on one thing. And
so he bans talking like during the drilling?
No, it doesn't ban talking, but it's definitely like.
You just can't be fucking around.
You can't be like, oh, how was your weekend?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, be like, oh, what do you think about this move?
Yeah.
Can you give me this resistance?
Yeah.
Like,
it's all focused on what you're doing.
Focus on jiu-jitsu. And then before class, after class, like you fuck around, you talk, you make fun of each other.
Like any gym. Yeah.
Like any gyms. But like once.
And does he kind of join in on that? I know you've said he's late sometimes, but like after class, is he like good shit talker?
He's a very good storyteller. He tells very, very good stories. Yeah. It's hilarious sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you did stints in the US, trained at Roka.
Yeah, Vanguard as well with Jason Rao.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vanguard. That's in New York, right?
Yeah, New York. That was the first time I went there. Was 19.
Yeah.
I pretty much decided I'm gonna train in America, and I just lived there for 3 months. In the hood in Long Island. I didn't know it was a hood at the time, but it was fun. Yeah.
No issues.
No issues. Luckily,
Do you have any funny stories?
I heard gunshots every now and then at nighttime. That's pretty much it. So when I first landed in New York, I didn't have any internet on my phone.
Yeah.
So I would just like I searched up Google Maps, like how to get there.
Yeah.
And like pretty much from like I'm 19, no travel experience whatsoever. This is my first time going anywhere outside by myself, outside a different country, whatever. I just rock up and I'm like, fuck, how do I get to this place?
Yeah.
And then I just like figure out asking people like, I need to catch a train, I need to go here. And then I get to Central Islip and like I'm with my suitcase, I'm in like the hood.
Yeah.
And like I'm carrying my suitcase around, some people like honking at me and I'm like asking people like, hey, do you know what, like the moment where I clicked in, it was like, oh fuck, it was like, I tried asking someone like, do you know where this place is? And he couldn't speak English. And I was like, fuck. Like,
Where was he from? Do you know?
I think it was Spanish. I don't know exactly. He was like, no English. I'm like, fuck, where do I go? I just lost. I eventually ended up like talking to like some kind of homeless person. I asked him like, hey, do you know where like this is?
Yeah.
And like he gives me directions. It was very vague. So I walk up there, I ask another person.
Yeah. And then you eventually found
it. Yeah. But yeah, people were like honking at me when I was walking past. I was obviously like a tourist. Like I was a tourist in a different country in the fucking hood. Like not very smart.
Yeah.
But thank God it worked out. I got to my Airbnb safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel like there's like kind of like this arc of, you know how John Danaher is like the coach, and he's got Gordon Ryan, and you guys are similar. It's in the US. Like you got Luke, who's got Suppo.
Yeah.
Like, do you see like similarities between? Because obviously Luke, it's almost like he's an affiliate of New Wave in a way. Like he knows John. And
so Luke's coach is Jason Rauer mainly.
Jason,
okay. That's where he gets that.
So like, what are the similarities that you see? Like, has he taken kind of like that training?
The way we approach jiu-jitsu is very like similar. Like so we try to understand it from like a mechanical aspect and a tactile aspect. So rather than just learning cues and move, let's understand a little bit anatomy. Like let's understand like body parts. Let's understand what we're trying to achieve, and then plug that into them. So like we approach it from like a mechanical aspect. Like why does this move work? What are the requirements for this move to work? What are you trying to achieve? Yeah. Like for example, he already made an instructional on like katakatame or hidden arm triangles, and like while that was happening, he was like brainstorming and teaching us a lot about head and arm triangles. And he was like, all right, what are you actually trying to achieve when you're putting someone unconscious? And like a lot of people don't even know like why does someone get put unconscious, right? And it's obviously because like you're cutting off the blood supply to the brain. But how does it happen? It happens because you're cutting off the carotid arteries, right? Yeah. And then with the katakatame, it's like you have one side where you're closing with your wrist, but the other side is blocked by the arm. Yeah. So what's like the ideal shoulder placement to push into the artery? And it's like trying to figure out like those minute details.
So you guys like kind of sit there a lot and brainstorm position, like how to make it better. Yeah.
Watching other matches as well.
How to get better mechanics into a submission.
Exactly. So you have sort of anatomical based jiu-jitsu.
Only when it comes to, I think it only matters when it comes to like finishing mechanics. Like when you're trying to break someone's leg. Yeah. Put someone unconscious. I think understanding a little bit like anatomy and like being like, right, what am I trying to achieve in this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I have you in a mounted katakatame. Like, what am I trying to achieve? Am I just trying to squeeze? Like, where do I want my head pushing in?
So I think that's actually really important for people because a lot of people feel confused with their training. And if something's not working, it's not that they know something isn't working, but they don't necessarily know why it's not working and what is it even that's not working.
Well, it comes back to the thing that I said before, where you learn more off the move that fails and you do that do well.
So do you think a good starting point for people is to start with what am I trying to achieve?
Yes. Yeah. So oftentimes when I watch someone's rolling footage and I help them with a private or something and we go through it, I don't look at the good things, right? They do a good move, great. The move worked. You don't really get much feedback on it. You're like, oh great, that move worked, right? It worked. But when a move fails, you can be like, hold on, like why did it fail? Like it could be as simple as like you didn't get the underhook, you didn't win the hand fighting sequence. Or if it's a finishing mechanic like a rear naked choke, it's like your wrist wasn't further enough, so you weren't applying enough pressure to the artery, meaning they could still survive and stay conscious. So it could be as simple as that. But trying to like identify why a move failed and then working towards what you can do next time to make it work and what were the roadblocks, that's how you really get good.
Do you believe in perfect jiu-jitsu?
What does that even mean?
Up to you.
I think it's all subjective. I think sure I think you're striving towards making it perfect, but you can never achieve perfection. There's always going to be a degree of like timing could be better, this could be better. All that really matters is that it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
And also, it's like you gotta approach it from like an open mind, because there's no like ideal technique. There's no best technique for anything. There's like a technique that works best for you based on what you like and your body type. But like that doesn't mean it's better than another move, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was training with Gordon like? Because you did a few rounds with him.
Yeah, I did a few rounds. He actually posted one of the rounds.
On YouTube.
Yeah, he's very like technical. So it's like I'd escape position, and be like, "Fuck, I'm doing really well." But then he just looking back, it was just like so he could funnel me into towards a position he was working on.
Yeah.
And then pass, like he'd like let me escape the back, but we just end up in chest to chest half guard. I'm like, what the fuck? How did I end up here?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he passed me again, and they do some like weird passing stuff. I actually learned so much off like watching that round back. Like,
Yeah.
The first time I watched it back, I didn't understand that much,
Yeah.
and then the third or fourth time, it really like clicked like what he was trying to do. And,
Is there like obviously you've rolled with like high level guys.
Yeah.
And every day you have that in your gym.
Yeah.
What are the main differences like with training?
Depends.
Because he's the best, like
Yeah.
in
So-
terms of nogi jiu-jitsu.
I think I've rolled with a lot of high levels guys, and there's like the thing that separates like the way that essentially the new wave guys train is that when they train with you, they're not trying to win. Like Gordon will like almost let you tap him sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I've tapped Gordon, and it's not because I'm better than him. It's because he let me tap him.
Yeah.
It's because he was trying to escape.
Yeah.
So like they approach it from a pure like learning perspective.
Yeah, they
Like,
don't train like retards.
no,
Like they don't go
not
hard
even
at all.
Like
Yeah.
I'll win exchanges, and he won't care because
Yeah.
it's just training. He's just trying to work the technique.
Yeah.
It's purely about skill development. It's
Yeah,
not about
getting
ego.
as good as fast as possible.
Good, and then later on when they're ramping up towards competition,
Yeah.
that's when you start scrambling. That's when you
Yeah.
start fighting. But yeah,
And also lowers the risk of injury when
exactly.
you do that.
Yeah.
Do you think that quality is missing from most people's training in most gyms in
Yeah, like,
Australia or around the world even?
Definitely, yeah. Because
Yeah.
also that thing is like, oh, training harder is just the way to go. You're just like, oh, good workout in, like that was great. I went balls to the wall, like I did so much good stuff there. But when you go balls to the wall and when your heart rate gets like very high up, you're not really working on developing new skills. You're working on sharpening your own skills, which is fine, which you need to do sometimes. But understanding when you should do it, leading up towards competition, when you're in the off season, and is important. It's like there's a time and place.
Yeah.
Against someone your own size. Another thing, if you go hard as fuck on someone who's like 20 kilos lighter than you,
Yeah.
it's like they're a blue belt. It's like, what did you really get out of that round? Because all the looks he gave you were like kind of incorrect. Because against someone who's like really good, you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So what was the point in just smashing with your A game? Like if you're going with a blue belt, why not give him an armbar, try to escape, try to like try to develop your weaker part of your games.
What advice would you give people to enhance their training? Now that you've worked at multiple gyms in Australia, you've been to multiple gyms around the world,
Yeah.
seeing some common issues that people have with their training. What advice would you give people to enhance their training?
I think the first thing is do more positional rounds. And I think the second thing is try to enjoy it, first of all, and then try to approach it not from an aspect of I need to win, but how can I learn? So like, I think it really helps if you're just trying to get technical is try to reduce your training intensity by a lot. Like if you're rolling at 67%, that's so much better and that's why positionals are good because when you start off in mount, when you start off in side control,
You're not going to explode.
exactly.
Yeah.
You kind of have to slow everything down.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that, and it just means they kind of
I
suck.
agree.
And then you really have to think about, what am I trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What am I trying to do?
Yeah, and so when you go into like open rounds, are you always just trying to work on something? Like, say you stand up, you're just trying to work on grip fighting or wrestling. Or
Yeah.
when you go to the ground, you'll pull because you want the person to. Put
Yeah,
interest
I think
in
training
something.
with a goal in mind is so important.
Yeah.
So like today, for example, with my passing, I was like, right, all I want to do is like I want to side body lock and body lock people and force half guard and pass
Yeah.
them towards mount. I want to make sure they can't go towards turtle.
Yeah.
And I was doing that effectively.
Yeah.
I was working on skills. I figured out small things. And it's amazing the progress you can make in like a couple of weeks off just really just honing in on one subject.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Trying to figure. And if something goes wrong, that's where you're going to learn the most.
Yeah.
Right. If something goes on, you should be thinking yourself. You're like, fuck, this is good. I'm getting feedback. Do you know what I mean? So I can sit down. Why did it go wrong? What do I need to work on? What could I have done better? Like, the other day I was trying to pin my opponent. We have this guy called UFC, or we call him UFC because he trained at a UFC gym.
Aaron, right?
Aaron,
Yeah,
yeah.
we know Aaron.
I was trying to body lock him, and I couldn't body lock him into half guard. He kept on turning on me, and it was so fucking annoying. After the round, I wanted to fucking shoot myself. But then I sat down with Luke, and then we troubleshooted it, and we worked on it for like essentially 10 minutes, and it took me a long time to get it.
Yeah.
But the next round, like I passed it into mount.
Straight away.
within like a minute or two.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's like a very big improvement from like
Yeah.
that one training session.
Yeah. Well, so that's definitely like one of the reasons you feel like you progress is just like that troubleshooting aspect.
Yeah.
Why you progress so quickly, I should say, is because
Yeah.
you just sit down and you break things down.
Yeah.
And you spend all that time. You don't just come to training,
Yeah.
honestly, fucking scrap for like half an hour and then go.
Exactly.
Home.
And here's another thing is like once you develop that understanding, you can now help other people
Yeah.
go through the same issue. So now when I'm teaching,
And do you think that's like an exponential thing that happens at Sydney West because you guys are all doing that? It's like exponentially growing because like that is like a recipe that you guys have. Like it's just
Yeah.
producing good guys
Yeah.
very quickly. Would you say that's like one of the things that
yeah,
helps that?
It's hard as well because the athlete has to do their own work as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
No, I completely agree with you.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think if you're dedicated and then you're willing to do the work outside of training, not
Yeah.
only in training, you can get a lot better, a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's like part of the culture you guys.
And
have
that's just
there.
purely like skill development focused. Also, there's the other aspect of competition, which is like tactics and
Yeah.
then like conditioning and other things.
Yeah.
But like purely from getting good at jiu-jitsu, I think that's the best way to approach it.
And so what's next for you in terms of jiu-jitsu? Like you obviously have your sights on
Yeah.
ADCC in Thailand. Do you have any fights coming up? Do you have
So
anything?
I'm trying to get a match on Subversion.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work out, I may do a couple. I may fly to the US and try
Yeah.
to find some matches there.
Yeah.
I really want to like start competing as much as possible before trials.
Yeah.
And then obviously like winning trials in December will be my main focus.
Yeah.
And after that, winning ADCC.
Yeah.
I think I can at least like do really. I think I can do really well there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And are you growing anything else out of jiu-jitsu, like social media? I see you're posting a lot. Like, are you trying to, like, is there a reason you're expanding your following? You just
Yeah.
trying to, like, help people with their technique? Or
Yeah, I'm trying to do like a very personalized like coaching program for
Yeah.
people. So like it's not meant for the average person. It's
Yeah.
pretty much meant for like those people who don't have the time or are really dedicated to the sport, where it's like you kind of work one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's essentially like look at it as like how a PT approaches someone's training. You like sign up essentially that, but for jiu-jitsu. It's like
Yeah.
I check in with you regularly. We have calls. I analyze your rolling footage. I give you specific jiu-jitsu techniques for what you need, not just a copy and paste method. And then I feel like I'm trying to upscale that at the moment, get it around like 5 or 10 people,
Yeah.
and then that'll be like a good little boost.
What are you
on
doing
the
that
side?
through?
Just right now, I think I was doing Zoom, and then
Yeah.
just like watching the rolling footage, talking about how they structure the training, like the mistakes thing. Try to teach them how to think about jiu-jitsu, not just teach them moves, and then showing them technique videos and trying to like tell them what to study. Just like pretty much being that like guide to like help them avoid the.
And are you
traps
open
and
to
the
people,
forms.
like, obviously messaging you on Instagram and, like, getting, like, trying to jump on this program and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah,
have
I'm
a
fairly.
Patreon?
I did, but I think it's kind of overdone. Where it's like
You prefer personalized things?
yeah, I think like look like Patreon. It's like you have so much better options.
Yeah.
Go to Jason Rao.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna show really good techniques. It's gonna be meant for everyone.
Yeah.
But if you want something personalized for yourself to really maximize like your time spent doing jiu-jitsu, I think
Yeah.
going towards someone and working one-on-one is the best option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Thanks, David.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
I think, yeah, we'll wrap up, and thanks for coming on, and yeah, best of luck with.
That was my first podcast ever done. So
Let's go.
hopefully it didn't sound too autistic.
No, it's all good. I hope
Yeah.
everything went well and we've actually captured.
I think you might have beat the allegations.
The what allegations?
Autism allegations.
Autism?
Yeah, no, you're
Maybe
very
not fully.
well-spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to drop? Like, you want to shout out anyone?
Shout out to my coach Luke and the gym Sydney West and the guys here.
Cool. Sweet as.
Shout out my boy P Diddy. I don't know whatever the Americans say.
I wanted to bring up the Diddy trial. Do you mind hitting that record button, Chris? The red one on the very right bottom.